Welcome to RickRackRuby. I'm Laura Kluvo. Today we will make this Farmhouse Wreath Christmas ornament. It's fun and easy, so let's get started. To make the Farmhouse Wreath ornament, we'll start with a 3-inch by 22-inch strip of flannel. It's plaid flannel, but you can use any fabric. I'll fold it right sides together and stitch along the raw edges with a 1/4-inch seam allowance. You can see that the flannel was torn instead of cut. I find that flannel tears very easily, and you can keep it straight on the plaid by tearing it instead of cutting it. Now we'll turn the tube right side out. There are lots of ways to turn a tube and even some tools, but I'll just do it the old-fashioned way. Secure the end with a safety pin. You can use one even bigger than this, and then kind of feed it down through the tube. It just takes a minute. And voila. Now I will turn the seam to one side and then press this nice and flat, making sure I have the seam completely turned all the way so that the whole tube is nice and flat with that seam exactly on the edge. I'll be right back. Here's my strip, nice and flat, and it's now about somewhere between 1 1/4, 1 1/8 wide. This is a shower curtain ring from the dollar store, and I know that for this particular ring, which is kind of fat at the start and then gets thinner, but in order to get over this round part, I need my channel in this tube to be 5/8 of an inch. So starting from the folded, not the seamed side, I'm going to stitch a 5/8 of an inch channel to thread that. It's almost in the center, but you'll want to measure to be sure. Now I'll just check to be sure this will fit. The wreath really looks better if the channel is tight, and I think this is just right. But of course, I want to decorate the fabric with some red RickRack. So I'll stitch the red RickRack down the side that has the seam, and I'll leave the channel free. You can sew the RickRack on first before you sew the channel, but sometimes the RickRack interferes with the stitching, and so I just prefer to do it afterward. Also, sewing on the RickRack requires a thread change, and I would rather just get all this done first instead of changing to red and then back to your background color, to your fabric color. I'm going to leave my bobbin thread this navy color and just switch the top thread to the red for the RickRack. I will top stitch the center of this RickRack down the length of the side of the tube that has the seam. It doesn't have to be perfect, like most of my designs. Now I'll thread this onto the ring. And I'm snapping the ring tightly closed. It didn't make a snap, but I felt it go in, so I know that it's closed. And I'm going to keep the raw edges of the fabric right there where the clasp is, and I'm also going to decorate the wreath right there. I'm distributing the fullness of the gathers all around the wreath, and right here where I know that the clasp is, I'm going to consider that to be at about 4 o'clock on the wreath. So if this is a clock, this is 12, this is 4. I'm going to secure this with a little bit of hot glue right here to overlap those ends and conceal the raw edges. I always have my handy glue gun at my side as well as my Bernina. To help me determine the top of the wreath, I'm going to go ahead and sew the hanging loop first before decorating it. We'll make a triple loop bow to decorate the wreath. 1 and 2 and 3 and make the X, go all the way around the center and tie it off with a square knot in the center. There's my spot to decorate. I'm going to glue that right there. Just a little bit of glue. And then I will tie off my streamers and trim them. Not too long. And then I have these from Target, and any one of these would work, but I've already selected this one. This has adhesive on the back. You just peel off the paper and stick it on, but I never really trust the adhesive on these, so I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue as well. Right down the center. And then glue that right on. Now I'll sort of arrange my loops. And that project is done. Quick, easy, fun, and cute. Thank you for watching my tutorial. If you're enjoying my videos, please like, share, and subscribe.